number 7 here. We're up against ISO 8A. Now, last season, these guys were D69. They finished top 10 on the in-game leaderboard, and they migrated all of their members to a Shell Alliance, an alliance with war rating 300 points lower than what their D69 alliance ended last season with, and the reason that you would do that is to get advantageous matchmaking early in the season. And I believe that coming into this war, these guys were unbeaten because they had been picking off Tier 2 alliances on their way up. So, okay, I knew that after all the shit-talking I had done, there was just going to be something about this war. And yeah, this is a pretty interesting war. So, I've got a lot of fights. I've got 9 fights, really out of necessity in matchups, and yeah, I can't remember a whole lot about this war. It was kind of traumatizing war. There is one fight that is admittedly kind of hilarious, but we will get to that, of course. All right, so I do get to use Apocalypse. However, I'm not bringing in Cable, so I've just got a few Apocalypse fights, and I am going to take the Dragon Man on this path with Apocalypse, despite having Red Hulk, who is a considerably better counter to that fight on my team. And the reason is because I want to get 1 extra genetic code. I'm going to be fighting a rank 5 Doctor Doom mini-boss on node 51, which is the Conflictor, and Combat Deja Vu Prowess node. Very scary fight. And there are plenty of options. Human Torch with Flame On and Guidance is a very, very good option, probably the best option. But I've got Apocalypse, and Apocalypse is just such a good counter to Conflictor, and I feel so confident with Apocalypse that I assign that to myself. So we will see how that goes. But this first fight is probably the easiest fight that I have all war. And it is this Kingpin. Now, I am running half suicides here, so you guys see, I just wanted to get that bleed immunity early in this war, but because I threw that special, I do lose 5% of my health to recoil. And the Salve Mastery is taking me up 2 health every tick, which is super helpful. But, alright. I think I'm going to save for an SP2 here to try to kill him so I'm not purging my health to recoil. There we use a light attack for spacing so that we can heavy and refresh those buffs. And I am going to bait out this SP1 before I throw an SP2, just because I don't want to not kill him and for him to get to an SP2. We're going to do this one more time, bait out 1 more SP1, and then we'll throw the SP2 and this will kill him. Actually, I think I just went to the SP3 here. Okay. This will kill him. Alright, and the next fight is Dragon Man, and it's a fairly straightforward fight. If you knock the defender down, they will gain an armor break. Dragon Man is frequently placed here because if you armor break him, he'll degen you. So you basically have to play this fight without knocking him down, and that can get tricky if you have to bait specials. And you know, if the defender is running Mystic Dispersion, which this defender is, any defender or any opponent that you face at this tier is going to be running Mystic Dispersion. So I do make an adjustment mid-fight here. This is a fairly ugly fight and a pretty long one too. Not a very comfortable matchup, to be honest, but you know, whatever. So all right, so I'm dexing here. I just want him to bait. I just want him to throw his SP1 so that I can block it. That will cancel the power charge buff on him and inflict an ineptitude debuff on me, which I honestly can't even remember what the ineptitude does, but it's a completely useless debuff, and all it's doing right now is it's healing me 200 per tick from willpower. I am getting cornered here, though, and I really would like for him to throw his SP2. There, I use up my Indestructible on a dashback. You just gotta love that when that happens. And I'm going to eat this SP3. So I'm a little bit scared at this point. Coming out of this animation, I know that he's going to be unstoppable and unblockable. I'm going to have to play Quake style on the wall here. And fortunately, he gives me a little bit of a breather. There we get the double dex on the heavy attack. Thank you, Eternity of Pain. And yeah, we just need to repeatedly bait his specials in this fight. So It's not very complicated, but it's pretty slow if you're not using a dedicated counter, and it's pretty scary with Mystic Dispersion if you have to get, you know, to baiting his specials and all that stuff. So at some point here, I am going to just, I'm going to stop triggering Dexterity, and I'm just going to block everything. You can shallow evade the SP2 like right there. We outrange it essentially without using the Dexterity Mastery. And then I'm just going to be parrying him when he gets his Power Charge buff to cancel it. There I do have to trigger Dex just to get him to throw his SP1, but that's not really a big deal. Alright, and at some point I think that I might try to end this fight with a special attack. I honestly can't remember. This is a war that I don't want to like spoil anything or anything, but this is a war I definitely tried very hard to forget. I was despondent. You guys can see where this is going. I'm not sure what I'll put in the title or the thumbnail, but it was a sad war, a very sad war. So anyway, alright, we are, mercifully, we're almost done here. We've been going at this guy for 2.5 minutes, over 2.5 minutes. It is very difficult to come up with commentary for a 2.5 minute war fight. But after eating that SP3, we managed to essentially get out of this fight without losing any additional health. His ineptitude buff and willpower definitely helped with that, but yeah, we're all set here. And our next fight is a Sasquatch on node 21, which I took earlier this season with Red Hulk, and I had an input drop. I literally stood there and ate all of the hits on an SP2, and I got ruptured all the way down to like 40% of my health. Here, I considered taking Dexterity off, but I chose not to, I think. And I think I just put on Liquid Courage, but I might not have. But I am going to use an Invulnerability boost here, and I've been eating these things all season. But yeah, I mean, the trick here is just parry, smash. Don't worry about his specials. Don't worry about Mystic Dispersion. I am just completely ignoring the node, his kit, everything. I'm just going to, if he wants to throw his SP1s, then I have to dex those, but yeah, I mean, I'm just smashing here, and I've actually got full Suicides on just to help with the damage, and I think that this is my only Red Hulk fight in this war as well, so, you know, it's not really a big deal if I lose some health. I won't have to heal him up. I do throw the SP2, so I'm able to regain 6% of my health automatically, but I honestly can't remember, but I'm pretty sure that was my last Red Hulk fight. Alright. Moving up, and we've got a Crossbones here. Basically, Apocalypse hard counters this entire lane. It is a Purify lane. The only defender that Apocalypse himself, or I guess I should say the only two defenders that Apocalypse himself cannot counter are cleansers, basically. So the most dangerous one would be Jabari Panther. There is a way to play around Jabari Panther so that she doesn't have an active cleanse. She only gets a cleanse when she makes contact with you. So if you, when she's attacking you and makes contact, either hits you or hits into your block. So if you play her without letting her hit you at all, then you can prevent her from gaining cleanses, and then you don't have to worry about her, you know, reflecting damage. Or in this case, if she were on this node, she would go unblockable after cleansing 3 debuffs. But Apocalypse, anybody that doesn't have a cleanse mechanic, Apocalypse's Purify ability accuracy reduction is going to work unless they have some kind of ability accuracy immunity, or like Long Shot has like increased ability accuracy. But anyway, Crossbones here, it doesn't matter. All I'm doing is I'm throwing specials, and I did take off Suicides. You guys can see I didn't lose any recoil there. But I will be putting half Suicides back on for that Scary Doom fight that I have, just to try to get out of there as quickly as possible. I might have actually put on full Suicides with the Liquid Courage, but again, I just can't remember basically anything. So, alright. And then we're also going to have several Scorpion fights as well. So we're almost out of this fight, and that is going to be the last fight that I take with Apocalypse before that Doom. So I'm going to go into that Doom fight with only 3 genetic code. I won't have the fully ramped up Apocalypse, and it is a rank 5. So kind of scary, but it's going to be all right. Okay, Nova is, I think, one of the top defenders with this meta. This is just not really a node I would place him on. Scorpion is a very good counter for Nova, just because he's tactic and he has that taunt. So you can just repeatedly bait the SP1. And I think in this fight he is going to get to an SP2 at some point. I'm just going to take it on the block because this node doesn't have anything to enhance his specials. And as long as I keep throwing my special attacks, keep baiting his special attacks, I don't really have to worry about his Nova charges building up too high that he would go unblockable or anything like that. And of course, if I throw a special, I'm going to Fate Seal all of his buffs, and the unblockable that he gets is a buff. So I would be able to Fate Seal that. So there's really no danger in this fight. I'm going for reparries so that I can knock him down to remove the protection. But if he throws 2 mediums, then I can just bait a heavy attack and all that stuff. So he goes down very, very quickly, and here we have a Cersei. So we've got guidance on there. I'm going to be using Scorpion and a Power Start 1 boost. Now here's the thing about Cersei. Her glancing buff does prevent Fate Seal on special attacks. So here, my first attack, I crit, she gets the glancing buff, and now she's got multiple buffs because of the global and because this node has Rich Get Richer. So all I'm trying to do is wait this glancing buff out, and if I can wait it out, I can throw my SP1 and this fight is going to be over. There, I have an input drop. I tried to dex, I couldn't, and she crits 2 of her SP1 hits and 3 of her 5 combo hits, and I mean, I just got completely exploded. So I was obviously, I'm always devastated when I die. But that fight, there was literally only one thing I could have done differently, and it's an adjustment that I made going back in. So I've got a Power Start 1. I'm not going to hit her. Oh, I did. I even risked it there. That was stupid. But I just wanted to throw the SP1 immediately at the start of this fight to Fate Seal her so that she could never have a chance to get that glancing buff. And as long as I do that, you guys will see how easy and simple this fight is. So Scorpion's crit chance is like 25%. I think for this fight, I literally had 0 points in the precision masteries. Normally, most people are going to run 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5 precision, and then they'll have 1 point in the lesser precision to get to that precision. So they'll have like 5 or 6 precision masteries. I had 0 at this point. You guys can see at the top of the screen, I've got 13 mastery slots left. I just completely cleared those out. So my first hit in that death fight against Cersei, and I crit. That is just incredibly unlucky. Had I not crit, she would not have triggered glancing, and I would have been able to throw my SP1. And then obviously, she had just incredible crit RNG on her special attack and her combo. It's just one of those things, what can you do? But after that first mistake, which could hardly be called a mistake, I mean, really, it's natural to, when you're throwing an SP1, to want to throw a basic attack first. But I didn't need to, and that's the bottom line is, because I had guidance, I had a very long passive stun, I didn't need to throw a basic hit before my SP1. And if you guys are taking that fight with Scorpion, I just recommend, especially if you have guidance, I recommend just not throwing any attack, because if you crit, you're gonna end up screwing yourself, basically. Okay. Anyway, we're past that point, or past that fight, but it's a tough one to swallow. I had literally no chance in that fight. Of course, I could have dexed her second SP1, but I had an input drop, so whatever. I hate blaming stuff like that. It is kind of funny, in hindsight. It sucks to die, but I don't know. Okay, Jug's fight was totally nothing with Scorpion. And so yeah, this is the fight that I was most worried about. I wasn't even really that worried. Honestly, the only thing that I was concerned about in this fight was managing the block damage with a rank 5 Dr. Doom. But I do have guidance from one of my buddies there, and I've got 3 genetic code. I'm max boosted. I do have, I'm pretty sure, we'll see here when we start the fight, but I'm pretty sure I ran half suicides with double edge only. I prefer to use Apocalypse with half suicides for the scary fights, just for the damage. And that's the reason that I had the immunity. There, my slumber does kind of give me some regen, but I healed up anyway just to not mess around. But you guys can see that the block damage is, it's I would say significant, but overall it's going to be fine. Now, because he's a rank 5, he's got a ton of health, and Doom has the best natural crit resistance in the game. My SP2s and the power back boost, and also because I've only got 3 genetic code instead of 4, I'm not going to be able to just freely recycle SP2. So basically, I'm just trying to stack up as many debuffs as I can. The other thing, I mean, you guys probably know this, of course, but if Apocalypse has less than 4 genetic code when he starts a fight, his special attacks will only inflict 1 debuff unless they're a mutant, in which case he'll inflict 2 debuffs, or if the defender already has a poison debuff, then like his special one will inflict a weakness debuff. So, but we're just managing his debuffs. He does have 2 prowesses here, so we just kind of have to be careful. I land a parry there, really to buy myself some time and refresh my own debuffs, and by the time he's going to throw this SB2, he doesn't have those prowess buffs. But you guys can see that this fight is very manageable, and I'm just going to land another heavy here to refresh the debuffs in my SP1, and with those 3 debuffs that I've got on him, I'm getting, almost full burst damage on my special attack. Right, and then we just have to dex this, and I'm just going to let those debuffs kill him. So overall, I would say it's a fairly easy fight. When he throws the SP2, don't mess around, just block, dex the first 2 beams, and then block the big beams, and then you can dex out of the last part of the big beams, whatever. And that's a safer way to do it than try to do a flashy full dex on his entire SP2. But okay, for this one we have to take off suicides, clear our masteries, because I just don't want to take any risks here. I'm going to be using Scorpion for this Arcus. I don't think I'm going to have guidance here. Scorpion with his global is just an insane attacker. He's so good already with a taunt, just being able to control or manipulate somebody's AI to throw specials is just a huge ability for Alliance War. And then you get this guy in Neutralize and a Fate Seal, and it's just insane. So the key with Vision Arcus is he actually cannot cold snap you unless he has a power game buff. And here we are going to use a Power Start 1, and we're going to throw this SP1. We're going to take away his power gain buff. That power gain passive does not give him his cold air or armor break or whatever. So he can't cold snap you, he can't armor break you, he can't basically deal any damage to you without that power gain buff. And as long as he's taunted, I can block his unblockable specials. So there is just nothing to this fight. All we're doing is throwing our SP1s. We're going to let him kill himself every time he throws a special attack. And that's it. And, I'm not concerned about him getting to an SP3 because of his taunt. If he did get to his SP3, I could survive. I think it depends on when he would throw them, because the snow does have the aspect of evolution. But I think that I could survive 2 without an invulnerability boost. At least 1, and I know that just the odds on him throwing his specials when he's taunted are good enough that there's just no way he would ever get to 2 SP3s. So I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, very, very easy. And I think that the most disappointing part about a war like this, and specifically that Cersei fight, is how easy it was when I went back in. And it's just a tough pill to swallow, because it should have been just such an easy solo, and we just got some bad luck, really. But all right, we did end up winning this war on a tiebreaker. We had a really and honestly embarrassing war, but those wars happen. I contributed, of course, with my death, so it's tough to it's tough to be upset with people. if you contributed, but ultimately, you know, we have to be better. We ended this war 8-8. ISO is not even really pushing this season, so yeah, just a disappointing war all around. But we're 49-2 on the season. That's not awful. I would love to have a better season than that, but it is what it is. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I know that this is a longer one. Leave a like and a comment. Let me know what you guys think about the fights, and you know, let me know your thoughts on that Cersei fight, because it was a pretty funny fight in hindsight, but it was tough to swallow. So anyway, subscribe if you want to see more of these videos, and I also do essentially power ranking videos for alliances, all the war alliances. And I have war to war updates, so those are posting essentially between all of these war videos. But that's it, guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one.